Yes, by my estimation, this is correct. I believe it was in January of 2024. A notice went out coming from the officials at Notting Hill Carnival stating that some bands had been removed from the road and other bands and all bands had been put on notice. Now, I have heard some debate and discussion about the extent to which all of the bands on the road were subject to this policy and why, but we're not going to get into that today. What I am addressing, however, is the uptick in an anti-Afrobeat sentiment in relation to Notting Hill Carnival that we realize it spans at least about a decade now. In 2015, The Voice newspaper online published an article documenting outraged, as they refer to it, about the supposed unconfirmed reports, it wasn't even confirmed, reports of the inclusion of an Afrobeats float at Carnival. And ever since then, this discussion has ramped up. To the last few years, it's gone viral online on TikTok and Instagram and all about the place. Yeah. And so the debate has often completely negated the fact that a lot of the playing of Afrobeats at Notting Hill Carnival was facilitated by collaborations between Afrobeats artists and Soca artists, yeah? And at one point, they don't use the term so much nowadays, but at one point there was even a subgenre being referred to as Afro Soca. And so even with that, the extent to which Afrobeats was being played on the road, on the mass bands at Carnival, as far as I'm concerned, has been severely overblown and fabricated, yeah? And the idea behind it has been that the playing of Afrobeats on the mass bands somehow represents an affront and a disrespect to our culture coming out of the Caribbean. And the point I am making is, of all of the factors within the society that represent a threat to the preservation of our culture as Africans coming from the Caribbean, Afrobeats is not one of them. And so if we are serious about the protection, preservation, and perpetuation of our culture, we will address those issues. And there is no need to fabricate issues with Afrobeats in order to do so.